Lachlan Brown, and this is my sports show. And for this year's AFL Women's Premiers, I reckon the Brisbane Lions will likely win back-to-back. Because they've got a really good side, well-run club, great coach Craig Starcevich. They should get it done again. First game of the round, Sydney and Collingwood at North Sydney Oval. For this one, I'm going with the Swans women to win by 19 points. Best on ground for the Swans are going with Chloe Malloy, Lucy McAvoy and Montana Ham. Collingwood's best on ground are going with Brianna Davey and, if she's not injured, Michaela Hyde. I've got a feeling I reckon the Swans will have a very good season. As for Collingwood, well, they could be alright this season.
Alright, go for it.
We're now in the second game of the round. West Coast and Richmond at Mineral Resources Park in Perth. West Coast, they're not doing very good at the women's in the last few years. As for Richmond, they made the finals a few years ago. For this one, I reckon the Tigers will get up by 37 points. Best on ground for West Coast, I'm going with Roxanne Rokes, first game for a new club, and Alison Drennan. Richmond, I reckon it'll be Mon Conte and Ellie McKenzie for best on ground. As Richmond, I reckon they'll be pretty good this season again. As for West Coast, well, it's going to be a long time for Daisy Pearce's coaching career. It's going to be a long rebuild for her. We're on to the third game. GWS versus the Western Bulldogs at Monica Oval. I reckon the Bulldogs might get up in a thriller by 2 points. Best on ground for the Bulldogs, Ellie Blackburn, Jess Fitzgerald, and I'm going with the first pick for the draft, Kirsty Lee Weston Turner up forward. For the Giants, I'm going with Caitlin Shrow at her first game, and I reckon Alice Parker will play very good for the Giants. As for both those sides, they're in for a very long rebuild at AFLW. I reckon whoever wins will actually have their rebuild cut a bit shorter. And that's the end of Game 3. And we move on to Game 4. Essendon and Fremantle at Windy Hill. Fremantle, they've lost a few AFL women's players and they've recruited a few players. They're going to be hard to watch this season now that Kiara Bowers is not playing because she's going to be having her first child. I reckon the Bombers will get up by 21 points. Best on ground for Essendon, I'm going with Madison Prespascus and Bonnie Toogood. Fremantle, I reckon their best players will be Gabby Newton and I'm thinking Ash Brazil, both new recruits. Essendon, they have a finalist last year and they could make it again this year. As for Fremantle, well, it's going to be a while till they get back to the finals, and that's the end of Game 4. Anyways, now we're on to the fifth game. Gold Coast and St Kilda at People First Stadium. Gold Coast Women's, they made the finals last year, but disappointingly lost to the Sydney Swans. As for St Kilda, they haven't made finals yet. They nearly made it this year. Last year, I reckon the Suns will get up by 1 point. Best on ground for Gold Coast, I'm going with Dizzy Darcy, Tara Bahana up forward, and the legend Charlie Rowbottom in the midfield. St Kilda, I'm going with Georgia Petrikos and Jessie Wardlaw. Gold Coast, they should have another good season this year in the women's. They could be premiership favourites. As for St Kilda, well, they could make the finals this year. And that's the end of Game 5. And anyways, now we're on to Game number 6. Geelong and Melbourne at GMHBA Stadium in Geelong. Melbourne, they've lost the semi-final last year to the Cats. But they're looking for revenge. Geelong, they nearly made it to the grand final last year. I'm so sorry, Melbourne fans. I've got Geelong getting up again. Margin, 32 points. Best players for Geelong, I'm going with Georgie Prespascus, Chloe Shear, and Kate Darby up forward. Melbourne, I'm going with Taylor Harris and Tyler Hanks. Geelong, it should be another great year for them. As for Melbourne, well, their women's team can start to go downhill a bit like the men's team have. And that was the end of Game 6, and next game reports the showdown. Anyways, we're now on to game number 7 of the round, the showdown. Port Adelaide versus Adelaide at Albert Oval. Temporary grandstands are coming into Alberton Oval, considering it's going to be a sellout. Also known as the Bibble Brothers Showdown. Well, the team have got to win this game, and the Bibble brother I picked is the Crows and Jaden Bibble by 46 points. Best players for the Crows are going with Ebony Marinoff, Anne Hatchard, and Caitlin Gould. Port Adelaide, I'm going with Kirsty Lamb on debut, and I'm going to go with probably Sashi Side. Crows, should be having be another great year for them. As for Port, it might be a while till they make finals in the women's. And that's the end of the showdown game, and next one's Hawthorn Carlton. Here we are now, we're on to game 8. Carlton and Hawthorn. The Blues, they've been making up the numbers in the men's in the last few weeks. Hawthorn, they've been partying in the last few weeks in the men's. And now they're playing their first women's games. As for this one, I've got the Hawks having a party here. They're going to be winning by 40 points. Best on ground for Hawthorn, I'm going with Emily Bates, Eliza West, and up forward, I'm thinking maybe Tilly Lucas Rod. Carlton, I'm going with probably just Del Pass. Carlton, it's going to be a long season for them. As for Hawthorn, they're going to get better in the women's. That's the end of Carlton Hawthorn, as next game to report is the grand final rematch. And now we are on to the grand final rematch, the final game of the round. Brisbane and North Melbourne at Brighton Homes Arena in Springfield. For this game, I'm going to go with the Brisbane Lions getting up because of high ground advantage by 5 points. Best on ground for the Lions, I've got Lily Postlethwaite, Ellie Anderson, and up four are going to go with Courtney Hodder. Kangaroos, I'm going with Libby Birch on debut. Also, Jasmine Garner, and another one for the Roos. I picked the best player, Emma Carney. It should be Brisbane and North Melbourne. They're both going to be in for very good seasons. Could they make the grand final again this year? And that's the end of the rematch. This is a wrap-up for round 1, and here is the summary of my predictions.